Welcome to the next episode of the Magdalena Podcast. Today I have in the show Miriam, and she's a dear sister from of me. I met her in Ibiza some years ago. They were living in a yurt actually, and I met her through someone else, and she was sharing her voice in a workshop, and I got so touched by it. I was like, who is this woman? What a voice she has. There's so much power in it. And then I came to her for some sessions to liberate my own voice. It was beautiful. And then we already started to speak about Mary Magdalene. And she definitely is Magdalene's sister. So, Miriam, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Lonike, for inviting me. And we didn't meet for a long time, like physically, but still it's beautiful to meet online because we know it also has a power, right? A force, and we can connect in that way. Yes, so my name is Miriam. I was born in Switzerland in this lifetime. And who am I? I mean, that's the constant question, right, of a life's journey. So what to say? Yes, as you mentioned a bit, uh, we were also living on Ibiza for 5 years. And before we had a longer journey, like also living in the forest and so on. Maybe we go there a bit later, a bit in a bit more depth.
Mm.
So nowadays, after 10 years, 11 years of integrating and healing and coming into touch with divine feminine energies, divine masculine energies within myself, I would say I'm a healing channel. And channeling nowadays, yeah, it's very popular, so to say. For me, when I mean channeling, I also mean I channel also my personality, which is evolving. I channel voices, especially from, I call them the grandmothers, but there are many different voices as well, also galactic voices, angelic voices, whatever wants to come through. So you could say a healing singer. And yes, I'm a sister. I feel as a sister of every woman alive. And I feel that's also why we meet. And yes, and maybe an evolutionary guide, because, yeah, also deeply tapped in these last 10, 11 years, always since I was born into, yeah, why is humanity where it's at, the state of the world? Why is Earth in the shape it is now, or it was? It's because it's already evolving.
Mm.
So I always was contemplating, thinking about how can we heal and where does the sickness of the world come from? Yeah, that's an ongoing journey. Yes.
And it's beautiful because I feel that you also stripped a lot of layers by choosing to live in the forest together with your partner Isa, and um, and also living in Ibiza really to serve the land here. And can you share? We're gonna dive into that, but firstly, can you share a little bit about your journey? When did Mary Magdalene came into your life?
hmm when I look back for longer, then I recognized, as I was around 12 or something, when my menstruation also started, there I still had the picture of Mary Magdalene being the whore, and I didn't judge her for that. But it was like, wow, how can that be? And for sure, because when you have your first menstruation, you come into the realm of sexuality and of the collective traumas there and so on. So that was really like, wow, okay, I still felt also like this in the past. And then when she really entered into my field, I think it was after I separated from my first long-term relationship. And then I began to feel, okay, I came across like the term sacred sexuality, sacred sexuality. And I got interested. And I think somewhere there was then the link to her as well. Um, yes. And then quite quickly, I began to experience things, right? Not with sexuality now as a first thing, but just the how could you say, the shake-up began for real. Yes.
And can you share a little bit more about that? Like what actually happened to you?
Um, like when I had this thing with sacred sexuality that popped up, I already was beginning to open up also physically. I was beginning to do yoga and had already like quite profound experience for that time, like out of body experience, Kundalini awakening, but I had no one to guide me, so to say. I just went through it, but I also already I was guided. I mean, I quite soon then remembered, aha, my connection to India as well, that I had been incarnating there as well. So yeah, I had the trust. And when I met Isa, yes, there was this connection, right? I felt, okay, this is something different. And there I was already connecting to the term like, and to the feeling of sacred union, twin flames, all these topics. And then we met, and it was really like from the beginning, that was the topic. And for sure then also, yeah, the deep process began, like, because there was this opposite or other half and the strongest mirror, so you cannot hide anymore, right? And yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. And how long are you together now?
Now it's since 2014, so around 11 years.
Oh, yeah,
And
wow.
yeah, and it's beautiful. It's also like we met when he was 22 and I was 33. So there already also saw like again these master numbers. And now I'm 44 and he's 33. And I'm really also feeling not just like 2025 for all of us is like a shift year. And we are still going through the shifts the coming years. But also with these numbers in years, in linear time, it's
Mm.
like, yeah, many things shifting and also falling into place. First
Mm.
the chaos to come into new order. Yeah.
Beautiful. And to me, I know you both, right? So and I also saw you together many times, and I do feel that you're really living this union. Can you share a little bit more about your role, or ideally the role of the feminine in the divine union?
Mm-hmm.
What is your vision on it?
Ooh, that's so many things. I mean, when we go from like that, the feminine is more tuned into the feeling realm, emotions, the feelings, the sensitivity, the interconnectedness. I mean, we are also the weavers of relations. That's our field, right? Unconditional love. Once we get there, after the cleansing, so there's many roles, but in our case, especially in the beginning when I was so deeply connecting, or just Magdalene was in the field and Yeshua as well, they just were there. She told me a lot, right? So I was channeling, and for years we sat at the fire basically in winter and in summer. So we were always together 24/7. And so there was this time and space. So I was just downloading. And yet, as I say, it was the download. And then the next thing, or I mean, it happens circular, is then the embodiment of these, not ideals, but just of this clarity, right? Of the potential we have as human beings, like our original godly or source blueprint. And that's really, for me, what the feminine, divine feminine in general points to. Because to me, when we talk about Magdalene energies, it's nowadays it's really the divine feminine, and for
Mhm.
me she comes in many forms, as the mother or goddess comes in her form, in other forms, in our form. um, and yet I feel also the Magdalene, she is a strong presence in this now time, and also Yeshua. um, and for me, it's really what there is really the basic of the Christ teachings,
Yeah.
is like the love is the heart center, right? Which is the most powerful creational tool we have. And love moves everything. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And do you feel that that's why they are so aware nowadays to really connect us back to the Christ consciousness that is already inside of us, but needs to come out embodied as well, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's, I mean, all the prophecies also of the indigenous tribes from many times or timelines pointed to this linear time now. It is really happening. The big shift is here. It's not just a fairy tale. And yet this means, wow, we have to look at everything, face everything, right? Um, Face everything and rise, fear. Face
Oh, beautiful.
everything and run, or face everything and rise. And many of us are now there where they know, okay, fear is a great reminder that there's still something which disconnects me or hinders my full light to come out, or for me to see the light outside. And yes, to me, Christ consciousness, when I say Christ consciousness, Magdalene consciousness is included, is one. And yet, on the universal spheres, or when we go more out, it's Christ consciousness, and it's really something universal. It's not, to me, it's not just something that's active on Earth. It's very old and ancient, and it is beyond religion. It is beyond human stories. It is even beyond galactic stories. It's really like a core. It's the core. And it's also beautiful of how many stories we have with Christ consciousness, right? Some of us maybe were be incarnated even with them at the time, were Essenes.
Mm.
So all of us go through many different layers and stories from ourselves, from our multidimensional selves, like all the different lifetimes we lived. So it's a deep quest back to ourselves. And we are always talking to ourselves in that quest.
And what do you feel like, because you shared like this is really the time it's happening, and I really got goosebumps all over, but what is it then? What is then the big shift? What do you feel is that?
Mm, yes, the right words, right? Because you could
Yeah.
describe it, especially nowadays. I feel when I also follow a lot of dear siblings online, because I love creation to come in many words, many different languages and forms. And that's also the fascination of creation. But the big shift is really us coming into full potential again as human beings, and also beginning to drop the story of humans are inherently bad or
Mhm.
powerless, or that we cannot do it. It's a deep topic. We could go into many different directions.
That's
I
true.
mean, in the end, yes, in the end, there are forces outside of us that we see. They work against that, and yet also that's not the solution, right? As there is no enemy outside to battle, there is also no savior outside to wait for, and that's really to me also the core, which Jeshua and Magdalene really point to. It's like it's within you, and you can do even greater things. We know that sentence, and this time is now, because I always felt like, okay, what was mastery 2,000 years ago? What was it 4,000 years ago? It was always also embedded in the historical times, right? And what was going on there. And now look at our time. What does mastery mean now?
Yeah.
It's like we are being bombarded with so many energies and information, and it's also for sure at the Aquarian age that's coming. It's beautiful, it's positive, and yet we master so many fields. So to really come there back into alignment, it takes something. And
Yeah.
yet the beautiful thing is not to be more, but to let go of just a drop of having to be anything. And that's also really strong for me, the Magdalene saying, no, there is no dogma. Like where you are, that's where you are. And then
And,
breathe and pause, right?
and so because you've stripped away so much. I mean, you really lived with yourself and nothing else to distract you in the forest. And do you feel that this might help people that nowadays are so distracted by life? Is it like what can bring you back to this full potential of yourself while when you are bombarded by fear, by also by living your potential, that's also almost distraction. This, so how would you say, what is needed right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, in one word, on two words, in three words, the divine feminine,
Mm,
right? Because the world is out of balance, and we can call it patriarchy, we can call it the forgetfulness, or that we are just like mind driven, you know. So what it needs is time and space for ourselves, and everybody, every human has a different way of how can we be still, become still, and it takes a lot. To me, I always say, like, in the past, the bravery was maybe the spiritual warrior really on the battlefield. Many of us experienced this, but now the bravery is to say stop. I can just sit here in a potato bag and look like I want, and I'm still loved, I'm still cherished, and I'm still doing something, because
yeah.
like the being is also the new doing. Not only, it's not exclusive, it's inclusive, right? That's also the inclusiveness, as well as masculine and feminine. And how exactly, how can we bring that into balance? And yeah, it needs courage. It needs courage, because for sure, I experienced it now 10 years. When you step out a bit, there comes the money question, there comes the family, there comes so many things that get triggered. So it's a lot of work, yes. And yet I feel so many also generations before us already paved the way, you know, began
Mm,
to, when we now call it wake up, or wake in, I would say even more, paved the way that the field, like the quantum field as well of information, is less dense than like 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So what I also am seeing now, especially online, it's in a way easier to wake up, to get to the informations.
mm,
I mean, I also had to go many times, because I have a strong mind as well, through the political things, what is going on with the governments and so on, just to connect the dots, right, of that map we live in. So yes, but as you said, there is a lot of distraction also of, how do you say, self improvement.
yeah.
So there's again like the mind coming in, okay, just the next course, and then you'll get there, and then you have the paper. And to me, the Magdalene also there is like radically saying, no, no. It's
Mm,
like, it's about the Gnostic way,
yeah.
like they also call it, right? The Christ teachings are Gnostic in their nature, and that means direct revelation, direct experience. And so it's also individuation, right? You becoming so brave to know, okay, I see other ways of doing, and I can be inspired. Yet I stay here and sit and wait what's coming, even if it's not pleasant, because it's trauma healing is not pleasant, shadow healing is not pleasant. And as we all know now, we are not only healing like this lifetime, it's our ancestors, feminine ancestors, if you're born in a female body, and with the masculine the same, but also the other gender. And also what I feel, and that's again when we talked about of the point, what many call ascension, where we are now going faster and faster into it. It's really also we could say we become more multidimensional, which means we can more connect to the star families or star beings or inner earth, like many different siblings do wonderful work already. And also what I always, that's also Magdalene that told me a lot about that, right? It's about to also connect to your other lifetimes, which are not, for me, not past or future anymore. It's all now, it's a potential,
Mm,
it's happening. Um, and yet, and there I still wonder sometimes why it's in this incarnation that many of us focus to connect to these lifetimes, heal them, and then also receive the gold of it, right? The potentials, what we learned there, what we achieved already. So I see it's like a zero pointing of our stories, of the collective stories. Now they're just, how you say,
wanting to come out, purge.
yes, now they come,
Yeah.
yes, everything comes to the light, to then really go into a 0 point of the heart. And that's really, to me, like the crystalline heart is becoming active. And also ascension, yes, our body get more crystalline. So we go
Yeah.
from, yeah, many talk also about these things. So yes, but to really come back to self-love in the divine feminine, or the divine feminine teaches us that self-love means letting go of having to be this or that.
Yeah.
And what it means to be feminine, you know, because it's also interesting. Me and Isa, we have like an association, Indigenous Soul, and we met the Kogi people from Colombia like the first time 2 years ago, or 3 years ago on Ibiza, and then we went to Colombia and met them again, and now we work with them. They also came to Europe this April, no, a bit earlier, to Ibiza as well, and then we went here to Germany, where we are in the Eifel, and then to Davos in Switzerland. And why I now went there is like, there the masculine and the feminine is much more balanced in a way. So they look quite same, and yet they also have really their spaces where they are throughout the day. So mostly women are together the whole day, and the men. And now I lost the red thread why I went there. But exactly, what is femininity? What is masculinity? For me, it was also a long way to really, really, really let go of the conditioning of this pop culture, or what we
Yeah.
call it, right? To be sexy and to, we are, I don't like the word sexy, but we are beautiful as women, for sure. That's the expression of the divine feminine. That's the rose, that's the flower, that's the waves of the ocean. Yes, we are that. And yet, when there is still self-doubt with that, and it's still about the outer image, no, it's really coming, like we are evolving and living from inside out, not outside in so much. And
Wow. Yeah, that's
yeah.
beautiful. I also feel that what you shared, what I really love and feel is this coming from the inside out, and to also that this divine feminine brings us also back into this, really into this now moment.
Mm-hmm.
why we why we get this clarity about the past lives is also because this is actually the time where we can finish off this job of bringing back the feminine together with the masculine, because it's now suddenly the feminine that needs to take over. It's like we need to merge together. And yeah, and it's beautiful that you've experienced this in a with the Kogi tribe, no? That you can really go back and see how it works, kind of going back in time. Or we describe it like that.
Yeah, it's interesting because I also was thinking and feeling for years about that, and then what it is, and some call it the ancient future. And that's quite a good term for what I feel too. So, and because we have been so yeah, confused about, like, over centuries now, I would say, or maybe even thousands of years, but the last few centuries really were confusing for us of what it is to be a man, what it is to be a woman. And so I feel it's both. And for me, again, also the Magdalene is the eight, the lying eight. It's the as well as. So it's both. It's really to come back to what archetypal meaning has the masculine and the feminine. What is the archetype? And Yeshua and Magdalene are strong archetypes, right? Where it's about the purity, where it's really coming into back to that purity, become like a child again, which means really innocent and really being fully in tune with everything that lives and breathes. And this was a lot of me and Isa's work the last years. What does that really mean? And yet we are in the now, and in our history, which is still going on. So it's also about creating it anew, yet with that foundation of the archetype, right? The archetype is like a root, and especially we here in Europe, we lost our roots longer ago than, for instance, the Kogi people in Colombia. It happened here as well. So that's also a very important topic, I feel, and was also very important and deep in my journey with the Magdalene. That all this pain came up, right, from the church stories. And so sometimes I was lying in the forest and just weeping for hours, and just days of just lying flat and letting it wash through me, also collective grief.
Mm.
And that's also, we are also like, we as women, our bodies are also like mourning portals, right? Grieving portals. So we are also here. It's part of our job for many women, and when you have a feminine body, to also help to clear the field. It's not just ours, and still we let it wash through, and we support each other also in that. um, and one thing, maybe what I also see, like, or wanted to say already before, and also Magdalene for me always pointed towards that. Yes, it's the sacred union with a man or with a woman, and yet this is also sacred union from within. She always was saying
Yeah.
sacred union from within. So my masculine part, so my mind and higher mind now, which is becoming more and more active, and my heart and femininity can merge inside. And I feel that's really maybe the new the news is that, or which also many siblings say, and I feel that too, that this is now happening on a mass level,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Still many
And
think,
and and
yes.
I feel that the relationship is just a reflection of where you are right now in your internal process, and it's such a
Mhm,
beautiful mirror to see
mhm,
where you are at. So you
mhm,
can point towards your man if you feel that he is not masculine enough, for instance. But
mhm.
what does it say about your own inner masculine, and how
Yes,
can you love that more from the feminine
yes,
perspective? Because
yes.
this is then the job, not to judge it, but to love it.
Mhm,
Then your outer reality will also transform. But I feel indeed that the desire of
mhm.
divine union is increasing, and
Yes.
there's also, of course, this outward looking to, okay, so then I need to divine union in relationship, to actually realize that you have to come back to yourself to be able to hold that even.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Very well
And
stated. Yes.
And what I really loved, what I really wanted to ask you as well, is because you've talked about the heart and that it is so important. But can you also share about the womb? Because there's in a way, and I'm not sure if this is true. This is what I would like to ask you. So for me, the heart is more connected to Jeshua and his loving big heart, and then
Mhm,
the Mary Magdalene or the feminine is more the creation in the womb. How do you
mhm.
see that?
Mm, yes, also again, like this, it's always like big folders, many folders that open, right? And we could go in so many directions. Um, hmm. Yeah, I mean the womb, yeah, as you said, like it's a place of creation, and again, that's the divine feminine in general. But what just came, like the water bearer, right? So the feminine element of water, and also the earth, like the root chakra. It's the feminine centers, power centers. Um, and also Magdalene is often was depicted as the water bearer, and like a water alchemist. She was for sure, like Isis, like so many. I mean, also her and Jeshua's story happened like Isis and Osiris, and so on, right? So it's repetitions, it's reminders of what we are, and so to work with the waters also means to work again like with the emotions and the feelings, the feeling realm, and to be rooted in earth. And I feel there she is also very the Magdalene energy is very important for us women in, again, in Europe or like Western countries, because the beauty of our makeup is that we had to also learn to engage with the mind, right? So we have also been trained in having a strong mind, a strong masculine energy. And now we come back to the feminine centers and really ground into, okay, but what does it mean to really live the feminine side? And so here in the West, we are really also, I feel, a bit pioneers of really uniting these two strong worlds, right? It's
Mm.
interesting because we had to go through the other things as well. We couldn't just stay here and be the women. No, we had like, yeah, we know the stories, right? And it's a big healing wave now happening also in the collective, in the feminine collective, when you see what's going on, like the protests of women and so on. And everyone in their own way, right? So
Mm.
everyone has their role to play. So the waters, yes, it's really the deep dive into the unconscious, the deep dive into the cave as well. I always see the cave. The cave is going inside into the dark, and the dark we often fear, and yet we know there is the gold, and it's not dark in that sense. It's full of energy. So it's also the womb of creation that comes in, right? That we are always connected to the womb of creation. And also what now comes, what I feel like more and more I see many of us women, I see in the future, in some years, 10, 20, 30, we will also be like great mothers, you know, like because when we say we come into our full potential, we could
Mm.
also call it avatars. And it doesn't matter if it's now and it's not no one above the other, it's just different stages or perspectives. But that we really become these great mothers again. And also the Magdalene energy for me is more and more, she's like a mother, you know, which is holistic. Because also there, like the Magdalene, there are many stories how she lived and what she did, and others say, no, it's that, no, it's that. There we just can tune again in with our hearts and feel, okay, but what is the story's message? What
Mm.
does it point to? And that's always the same. Also with the Christ story, it's always the same. We come back to, there are many questions, thousands of questions, yet the answers are quite simple. um,
Which is?
so, yeah, in the end, uh, only you can do it, right? Only you can do your evolution. Um, Sit still,
Mm.
listen to your heart. Yeah, so many. Like also, I sometimes have to laugh, right? Because then my I call it spirit team say, "Yeah, Miriam, but you know the answer." When I want to find a solution, and yeah, okay, I
And
breathe. Yes,
still,
I
and
breathe. I
still,
breathe into my belly. Or me that I also work with the voice, right? Miriam, you could tone now for 5 minutes, right? Why did
I
you forget?
know,
So
it's so
then,
ridiculous, right? That
yes, it is.
oh. And especially, of course, now we have a baby, right? So it's a
Mhm.
bit of a different level, but there will always be something. And then I just realized, like, okay, it's not difficult, but
Mhm.
you have to just do it, and that's
Yes.
difficult sometimes.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
the mind doesn't really think that's going to work. So, also
No.
over the years, I really had to begin to talk to my mind. And now sometimes he comes with the idea and said, no, 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 no. Mind, the body now needs some shaking. You
Yeah.
can come afterwards again. And then he
Yeah.
says, okay, you know? So, also there, like, um, it's this beautiful connection also with everything in a really deep sense. That's also the Magdalene to me.
Yeah.
With I'm a lot in nature, right? I cannot live with going every day. I have a little dog sister with me, my beautiful Yaya, and yeah, I'm just merging, you know. And for sure, I was already in the past, and yet now it is like here, and this took going there again and again. So it's like what we really yearn for. It's like, okay, again, give ourselves time and space and the
Allow.
allowance,
Yeah.
because I had to learn in my process. What you're just living in the forest and doing nothing, right? Like now, just in a simple sentence. Not nobody said it like that, but as a picture. Um, so I had to learn to see, and also there was Magdalene. So no, 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 this is work here, and you feel how deep it is. Yes, I feel how deep it is, but I cannot live from this. Yeah, yeah, but you have to go on. It's the Gnostic way. You signed up for this in this incarnation, right? To really remember from the inside out, and So yes, it's really a deep and challenging, most profound way with the divine feminine energies.
Yeah.
It's and yet so beautiful. I mean, the power that really lies within that. There, I don't find words. I just find deepest gratitude, and also deepest gratitude. That we are in such a different stage now than again 2 years ago, 5 years ago. I feel the women are awakening again, also their wombs, their hearts,
Yeah.
and finally are letting go bit by bit of the outer world in a sense, and really
Mhm.
take their confidence from within.
Well, I
Uh,
love this so much, and I so feel the same. And I want to ask you slowly to move into uh, the topic that I love, that we are gonna sound or yeah, use our voices. But I
mhm.
want to share because I so feel it, and I really love to speak to you again. And I also noticed that I've missed you. Because it's
Mm,
beautiful to share like this, no? That you feel,
yes,
oh yes, this
yes,
is it,
yes.
yes.
It's nourishing,
Yeah,
right?
it's nourishing. Also because you feel that there's this message living inside of me.
Mhm,
I want women to feel, really to feel that it is okay to not do anything and feel so worthy by doing nothing,
mm,
so
mhm,
worthy by
mhm,
just sitting and doing nothing, and trust to trust life so deeply that you know that this is it. And
mhm,
actually this is a message to myself as well, that the mind can come in and think, hello, what are you doing meditating? You have 4 hours to work. Is
mhm,
this a good idea? But
mhm,
you know that it is
mhm,
the best idea that you can have.
mhm, mhm,
And sometimes it's also really training to trust that.
mhm, mhm. And also, when you spoke, it's like first we really often need it out of overwhelm. We are just like exhausted, and I had it also for many years. I just had to lay down. My body just said no, so I couldn't resist. There was no chance anymore. And yet, when we begin to do this more as a practice, also when we don't need it like urgently, then what comes in that we really begin to experience, aha, I'm sitting still here, like in the forest with the trees. And all of a sudden, everything begins to talk with me, right? And then begins the other work, which is so much part of the divine feminine, like the ethereal realm, like that we feel this interconnection between us and the trees and the birds, and they come because we are so aligned just with our presence, and they come and they begin to talk with us, engage with us. And so we are also the weavers in the light web, in the web of life, and going to,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
And
yes.
indeed, this is what I've experienced, well, many times in my life. And I would also like to invite women in, because I am also hosting a program called She Leads. And this is exactly about this, that you find your own inner attunement to life itself. And from that place, there comes a creation that comes out of you without, it's just there. It is it, because
Mhm,
you're so attuned with life that it will come from that place. And this is, yeah,
mhm,
such a difference, but it's also the future that it will be like that, no?
mhm. Yes, and it's really, and there we are also already in the world of sound. That for me also, one main aspect of the Great Mother is also that everything comes alive that she touches physically, yes, most important also for the divine feminine, but also like, once we become still and are, for instance, in the forest, we really, and we are pure and in this state of unconditional love. We touch everything around us, and you really begin to see that everything gets enlivened by this, and the birds begin to sing. And so we are doing work just by our presence. So that's also coming from the doing to being, again, like the embodiment of love, and we
Yeah.
one day will be. This,
Mm,
this is for sure. We don't know when, but that's in a sense the goal, that we just like Yeshua and Magdalene and Mother Mary and all the beautiful avatars, Buddha, we are just that presence of this frequency. And then the being is the doing and the doing is the being.
mm.
And
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yes. Beautiful. Yeah, I can so feel it. So let's dive into the sound, because this is a pure expression of this creation where the mind or the words are actually not needed. So you can tune into it. I feel that sound can reach deeper into the body, or can reach deeper into the heart than words can sometimes. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, will you take us on a journey?
Yes. So just to say also like a bit about the sound, it's again like we enliven everything with the sound. So sound is ancient technology. Our body temples are ancient technology. Also to see like with the AI, this is the angel intelligence, right? So our bodies are medicine, and especially our voice, the feminine voice that has been suppressed, also the masculine voice, both
Mhm.
have been suppressed. It's the same story in different ways. Um, so sound is really, as you said, is something direct. It's frequency, and also there again, we become these pure channels of sound when we clear ourselves and really become our true selves again. And so the sound is the medicines for ourselves first when we just tone, and then at one point we can begin to give it out to others, right? And so yes, I think we can breathe a bit together and just sound a bit. And then I just go into some channeling. Also, I wanted to say that I will begin to do online sessions, like one-to-one sessions with sisters. Like we will go through the elements and we will sound together. It's movement, sound, and breath. And
Yeah,
every sister that is interested could get in touch with me.
yeah, I will share
Um,
your contact in the show notes, and I
yes,
recommend to work with her. So
yes. Thank you. Okay. So then let's get comfortable in our sitting position, that we really feel the ground, have both feet on the ground in a firm position, in a comfortable position. And now we put one hand on our womb and one hand on our heart. And we just take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And when we breathe out through the mouth, we open the jaw a bit more than normal, because that grounds us into the pelvic floor. Or just also you can open it as wide as possible, as you feel comfortable. So 3 breaths. Deep into the belly. And now you can just rest your hands where you feel like, you let them where they are, or put both on your womb. And we're going on with these deep breaths. And on the out breath, we just begin to sigh or begin to sing some ah. And again, open your jaw more than normally, because it really helps to release. Again, it helps to ground. And we just sound some rounds of the ah or the sighing that comes out. Ah. 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 And one more. Ah. Yes, exactly. And the yawning can come. And let's make some funny faces and stretch our face a bit. Make some weird sounds. Just to relax also the vagus nerve, which is really important.
Mm.
Um, so I think we do one or two more things. And just to say, also when I work with sisters, also in person, I often have my eyes closed because, again, there's the focus on the inner world. We go back into our cave and we are not distracted by outside pictures. It really helps us to ground into ourselves. So, one of the most beautiful syllables to me is Ma, like the mother. And the A is connected to the heart chakra. Not in every tradition or in every form yet how I do it, like journey through the chakras, it's the A, is the heart. So we're gonna sound the Ma, and you can make like same length with the M and the A, or as you feel, because as we know, the humming, the really calms our nervous system, calms our mind. It's called in Indian tradition the Brahmari, like the humming of the bee. So we chant a few times Ma, and also what's really important, go in your own rhythm of breath. Again, really how you need it for your body, what's good for you at this moment, what your body tells you, not what I am doing or anyone else, or what your mind might say it should be done. No, it's you gifting your medicine of breath and sound to yourself and yet sharing it with everyone. Okay, we take a deep breath in and then we begin. And one more deep breath in. And now just feel your eyes still closed. And let's do one more thing. Let's send an inner smile down into our wombs. You can also smile outwardly. And with it, some feelings or thoughts of appreciation, of thankfulness for the womb, for this potential that is held within our sacred, our holy grail, our throne, our feminine throne. So now just send some feelings down to the womb, whatever comes. And with greeting and blessing your womb, you greet and bless your feminine ancestry, your maternal line. You greet and bless every womb that ever has existed in physical form. You reconnect with the cosmical womb, which always nourishes you. You can feel an etheric umbilical cord going from your belly button up into the cosmic womb. And this light always nourishes you, and you can ask for it. Because as we know, ask and it is given. And so you can still hold your eyes closed, and I'm gonna channel some sounds for you. Stay comfortable and just with yourself. Still keep your eyes closed, just one. And let's go together to conclude this, like we take a deep breath and then we free We sing 3 deep unifying ohms. Take one breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I would love to share at this point, like it's like a short poem. It's originally it's a song of mine, but just to conclude, womb wise wisdom, returning to the source, remembering the tales of time, finding our innocent force, womb wise wisdom, birding an ever new song, touching with feathers of starlight, let the new earth begin. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sister. Really, I received a lot, even though that the music sometimes is a bit falling off on you on Zoom. No,
Yes.
I could, I could. It was still receivable, and I saw a lot of roses when I was closing my eyes, and I also saw this beautiful line between our hearts and
Mhm.
women that were waving onto this line. Like, so they're gonna look to this podcast, and I saw that they were just linking line that is there, you know. So
Mhm.
beautiful
Beautiful.
for this creation together.
Yes.
I am really happy that you step up again into your beautiful space holding and in-depth teachings that you can bring to other sisters.
Mm.
So, yeah, please share how they can connect to you. And for me, it has brought me already so much. I also invited you on one of my retreats. And yeah, I'm just grateful for your being and for who you are. And thank you so much for being present here today.
Thank you so much, sister. Really, I don't just hear it, I feel it. And yes, that's exactly the energy that we need now, that we feel the resonance with beings, not just words can be deceiving. And yet, when we come into that feminine space again, we just feel what's true and authentic. And
Yes,
that's how we connect now, right?
yes,
So yes, I just thought, okay, where can people find me? I mean, I am on Facebook
yeah,
under Miriam Ma, but
yeah.
there's many Miriam Mas, but you should see me. I have like
I'm
now.
going to share your
You
Facebook.
share it.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so
Yes.
people will find you the right
Yes.
Yama.
Perfect. That's technical things. I'm still like sometimes I'm quite analog girl in a digital world, but yes, I get to it because it's also beneficial in when we use it right. So and the other thing is I'm on Instagram, like yes, I'm still like coming on with sharing a bit more, a bit because long time the camera for me was like, oh, and I'm still turning a bit red when I talk on camera. It's just, but it's okay, right? There's,
Yeah,
it's nothing to be not do it because I also felt Magdalene or Divine Feminine always nudged me. Miriam, it's now also time for you, right? Like
And I
maybe
can
feel.
also share your music, no?
Yes, yes.
Which is on Spotify as well.
Yes, I wanted to take it down because some things with the CEO of Spotify, but I think it's still there. And
Yeah.
otherwise, it's on YouTube as well, where we
Okay.
could create an album.
We're
Yes,
gonna share this in the show notes.
yes,
You will find it. But yeah,
yes,
I hear you on that.
yes.
Thank you so much. And for the people listening, thank you for weaving with us because I saw you actually dropping into the heart connection that was there. I really find this is why I am bringing this out. And if you like to share, we always love to hear your comments. Please share it and hope to see you the next one as well. And Miriam, thank you so much. We keep in touch.
Thank you so much, sister. Have a beautiful day. And also, thank you for everyone in the future, how we still call it like that connects with us. And yes, as you say, we co create these spaces together.
Mm.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.